All right. Now, some painkillers made me vomit. Other painkillers made me feel like I was out of my mind. I remember looking at the walls and just tripping out and just crying to my girlfriend, just hoping that it would end. And I had like a wire attached to me that whenever I wanted more pain medicine, all I had to do was press the button and it would like self-release, I suppose. Because my recovery was that intense, I stopped pressing the button. I just wouldn't take the pain medicine because I didn't like how it made me feel. I didn't like it making me vomit. I didn't like how it made me feel like I was tripping out and I couldn't think straight. And the nurses kept telling me, just press the button, press the button. I remember telling them, no, I hate pressing the button because then I'll just vomit. And so they kept switching my pain medicine. I started having panic attacks because I've been an athlete my entire life. I always had basketball when times were tough. I go de-stress, shoot the ball around, dribble the basketball. Now, after the surgery, I was literally paralyzed. I'm in a hospital bed. I can't shift at all. I had no power over myself whatsoever. I needed help doing everything, from everything using the bathroom to washing me. I couldn't get up out of bed. I couldn't do anything. And I learned what it was like to be an elderly person, like being a senior citizen home where like you can't move. People have to care for you 24/7. I experienced what it was like at 20 years old. And that's why this experience was probably the most pivotal moment of my life. It changed the way I think about life. It changed my perspective. It changed my goals. It changed everything. And I would say in a good way, to be completely honest, because it just gave me perspective. It gave me context. It made me realize that I never want to experience that again. I never want to be helpless and not be able to move my own body, to be paralyzed. I needed to be put on anti-anxiety medicine because I kept having panic attacks and I kept thinking that I was gonna die and I couldn't sleep. And the doctor was very, very hesitant about giving me the anxiety medicine because of how addictive it is. And I had never been on this type of medication before. And I remember one time I was having a full-on episode and my mind was racing and I literally felt like I was suffocating and I couldn't think, I couldn't do anything. And I had never really understood what a panic attack was before that. And it was the scariest moment of my life. I remember yelling at the nurses, I need that medicine, give me the medicine. And they were like, no, the doctor said you're only supposed to have 2 of them. And I was like, I can't think, I'm gonna die, oh my God. And I had never experienced that stuff before. I just remember hated being in the hospital. I hated it. I couldn't breathe normal. I had all these wires attached to me. They had me using this breathing machine because I couldn't take full breaths. And they said if I wanted to leave the hospital, there was 2 things that I needed to be able to do. I needed to be able to, this breathing machine that they had, it was like a little plastic thing and I would breathe into it and it would raise up. And I had to be able to get it all the way up to this level before I could leave. And then also I needed to be able to walk down the hallway without assistance. And Yeah. I remember I was there for 5 days, and after 5 days of having panic attacks and just not being comfortable and not being able to function or eat or sleep, or every second felt like an eternity when you're in that much pain, that much physical pain, and then your mind starts to go crazy. All I can say is the surgeon was right. The surgeon was definitely right about how tough the recovery was going to be, and I really had no idea, absolutely no idea. I'll put up a picture of like how I looked right after surgery, because I remember I had been seeing a therapist that the government appointed to me because I was like in the system, like foster care system, and for abuse and stuff. So like I remember emailing him a picture of me. I'm in the hospital bed and it's just in my chest, and it shows the scar, and I said I'm normal now. I couldn't believe that I looked down and I didn't have this crazy chest popping out. So I was in extreme pain, but like at the same time, like I was just so happy to feel like once it was all over, I was going to be a normal person and not looked at like as so much of a freak, like having a bone sticking out of my body. I looked forward to not having a target on my chest and being able to play basketball like and enjoy it. These thoughts helped me. I tried to keep them in mind to get through the recovery. After day 5, I had had enough though, and I remember getting a little sassy with one of the nurses, and I was like, listen here, I'm an adult. I'm 20 years old. I can leave this hospital and you can't do anything about it. And she goes, really? And I go, yeah, you keep telling me that I need to stay 2 more days, but I can leave. She goes, okay, how about this? If you can get up out of bed, walk across that hallway, I will sign your papers right now and release you from the hospital. I remember I was so determined. I'm laying back in bed. I had not moved from the bed at this point after 5 days. And I was like, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk across that hallway. And I just looked down and I started crying because I couldn't move. I couldn't move at all. I kept trying though. By day 7, I was finally able to get up and walk across the hallway. I had one of the nurses take a video of me walking for the first time, and that's the video that I use in all my social media posts. It wasn't easy for me to post that video at first, and it's still not, just so you guys know. I'll put it up on the screen right now, but it really puts me back in that moment. The fear I felt, feeling like having no stability here. I just remember feeling my ribs just floating, and I felt like my body was going to melt into the floor because I didn't have any structure. And I was so weak, and every step literally was the toughest thing in the world. It was unbelievable. So it took me a week to be able to stand up and walk across the hallway. I got released from the hospital, and there's a lot more drama that happened after this point, family-wise. I mean, this video could be like way long if I went into that, but let's just say that for the next 3 months, my girlfriend at the time stayed with me. I had to move a couple places because craziness happening, let's just say. And my girlfriend stayed with me and helped take care of me until I was able to walk again and start going to school again. My goal was to still go back and play college basketball and hopefully make the NBA. If not, try and play professionally in Europe, preferably Italy. Because despite not having a family growing up living all these different places, I always knew about my Italian background, and I had pictures of my grandpa who had passed when I was young. And that's why I'm so obsessed with Italian culture and heritage, by the way. So yeah, the next 3 months were indescribably difficult. Let's just put it that way. For the longest time, I couldn't walk straight. I couldn't puff my chest up. I couldn't. I was just walking around like a frail person. And I remember the first week, I still needed help doing everything. It literally, even like to bend down to scratch my foot or tie my shoe or something. Every day I had a different goal. Walk across the hallway, use the bathroom by yourself, go outside and walk to the end of the street and back. That was my recovery process. Just trying to do the little things. Eventually, I was able to walk all the way down the street, across the street, and go to the grocery store, grab a snack, and come back. And that's when I was able to start going to school again, because at that point I realized, okay, I can function. That was around like month 3, I believe. During this whole time, I'm trying to like make up schoolwork and stuff. That was insane. Excuse me, being in that much pain, trying to keep up with schoolwork. That's the last thing on your mind is schoolwork, let me tell you. Another thing I was doing was emailing every single college coach in the country because I wanted another shot at playing college basketball. I wanted someone to take a shot and take me on their team, give me an opportunity. Obviously, I needed financial help, but every school was scared. They didn't want a player who just had open heart chest surgery. So every school would tell me, yeah, like, we're interested, but go to a junior college first, prove yourself, and then we'll take another look at you. So that's what I did. I started taking classes again while I was recovering from surgery. After month 6, I was able to start playing basketball again. And I was limited. Everything was a struggle. Everything made me sore. Walking across the street got me sore. If I tried to do calf raises on the edge of the sidewalk, I was sore for a week just to do like 20 calf raises. So much of my body had atrophied. It was unbelievable. I was already a super skinny basketball player to begin with, but then after not being able to eat and not being able to move, it was unbelievable. Took baby steps. I remember once I was able to start doing exercises again. I would do push-ups and dips and just the simple stuff. But my main goal was not to build my body, it was to play basketball again. So I was mainly focused on trying to get my skill set back. And I tried. I went to junior college. The coaches, they told me flat out, you're not the same player you were before surgery. Why don't you redshirt a year, which is basically be on the practice squad, go to school, but you're not going to play. They said, why don't you do that, and hopefully next year you'll be back to like the same player you were before. And so I remember transferring. I went to one school, and then I realized that they didn't really believe in me. Then I went to another school, and then I played 1 year there, and I came off the bench. I still wasn't the same player I was before when I was at university, to be honest. And all the guys at junior college were trying to make the level that I had played at. I was playing at Division II, and rarely do junior college players get picked up by a Division I. Normally they're trying to get picked up by a Division II, a Division III, NAIA. And it was crazy just playing with all these guys that were trying to make it to the level that I already played at. Even though I only played there for one semester, like, I knew that I could play at that level. But post-surgery, it just took so long for me to get my conditioning back, my skills back, strengthen my body. Took forever for me to get my appetite back, to be able to eat, to be able to trust my body again. Long story short, I never got another chance. I never got another full ride scholarship, and I wasn't going to play college basketball unless I got a full ride. Because of my financial situation, I needed it all taken care of, or else it was just not possible. After I realized that I wasn't going to get another shot at playing either at a university or professionally, that's when I decided, why don't I start building my body up? You know, now I don't have this goal of playing basketball. Why don't I actually take pride in my physique? Why don't I build up my body so strong, and I'll never have to experience what it was like before. Basically, my whole plan was have my own transformation and then turn that into a career of helping others, and then turn that into, you know, all different ideas in the fitness realm. I first started with calisthenics. I was staying in Italy at the time with my best friend's family and spent the summer there, and we just did push-ups and pull-ups, crunches every single day. We just worked with what we had because we didn't have a bunch of equipment. His mom had a little gym. And so yeah, we mainly focused on calisthenics, and then when we came back to California, when the summer was over, we got memberships at 24 Hour Fitness, and we started doing a mixture of calisthenics and machines. And then eventually, once we got good with the machines, we started getting into barbell stuff, you know, the squat, deadlift, bench. And we really, at first, you know, everyone is guilty, let's be honest, of ego lifting, going too heavy. I remember I learned my own lessons along the way, and that now I teach those to my clients, to how to avoid those, like shoulder placement, elbow placement, all that stuff, and focusing on the contractions rather than just how much weight you can put up on any given movement or machine. Yeah, from there, started getting into a lot of the compounds, and that's what I really focused on. I thought the coolest thing in the world was to learn how to muscle up. And how cool would it be, someone who had open heart chest surgery doing a muscle up? If you don't know what a muscle up is, that's when you do a pull up, you pull yourself on top of the bar, and then you do a dip. And I just thought it was like the most alpha thing you could do in the gym. So I started training to learn how to do that. And so my main things that I was focusing on were bench, deadlift, muscle ups, machines, and I just started treating my body like a temple, basically, just like doing everything right and applying the same concepts that I learned as far as recovery and discipline and all these things from basketball. I applied that to weightlifting and building up my body. And I figured if I could learn tricks to recover faster from workouts, then I could work out sooner again, therefore speed up my progress. Because if I could work out, I would love to work out 7 days a week, because I'm an only child. I grew up like just super disciplined. Like whatever I wanted to do, I was just going to put all my energy towards that. And so after I figured out I wasn't going to be a basketball player, that's what I put my effort into. I focused on school, work, and gym for the next year, from 2019 to 2020. And in the first year, I made such an impressive difference in my body that so many people were telling me how inspired they were and how I should start sharing my story. So I started doing some YouTube videos back then. And then when I was in Italy, I was studying for my personal training certification. So I actually passed the NASM. So yeah, when I came back from Italy to California in 2021, in 2021, I started my personal training business in Newport Beach. It's called JCan Fit. If anyone is interested, I train my clients in Newport Beach, California. Um, Private gym, Onyx Athletica. I'm not trying to turn this video into a plug or anything, but I mean, that's basically my story. And now my goal is just to inspire others. So for me to go from open heart chest surgery to my current physique, and now I'm training for my first bodybuilding show. I'm 5 weeks out. My goal is just to inspire people, to share my fitness journey. And if anyone else is suffering from the same condition that I had, I know that it's a pretty rare condition. Like, just know that you're not alone. And the surgeon was right. If you can live your life without having that surgery, do it. Seriously. Mine was a more extreme case. So yeah, I mean, I've been putting off making this video for a while, but I'm glad I did it. Yeah, guys, that is my story. If you want to follow my journey, please hit the big red subscribe button. I'm posting every Monday and Thursday right now. I'm 5 weeks out from my first classic bodybuilding show. And yeah, that is it. Hope that my story inspires you, motivates you. And yeah, all right.